What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Heading up 75 north on my way to Wisconsin. Internet access has been really crappy over there in Dallas. So, wanted to make a video this morning, talk about what's going on, what happened with Lordstown Motors. Alright. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a truck driver driving across the country, researching and trading stocks, and I will not be held responsible for any moves you make in the stock market. Not ever. I am not your mama. Do your own research, make your own decisions, and take responsibility for them. Excuse me. I apologize for the noise. I've got a lot of running to do, so I'm having to make this while I'm driving, and this in the best road for a nice quiet video. All right. So Lordstown Motors way down in the pre-market, almost 15%. All right. They released earnings yesterday, and the media took it and ran with it in a really negative way. Okay. Now, all of the news stories that I'm seeing says Lordstown slashes production and all of this stuff, okay, that is really not what was said. All right. Now, I listened to the earnings call live, and I'm going to talk about what my takeaways were. All right. Now, it is true that they blew through more money than I expected. The reason that they gave for that, and it was everything they said was completely understandable in the earnings call. They talked about it, and in the question and answer session, they were pushed even more, pressed on it to talk about it more. Okay, so basically, what it seems like has happened is they decided to they were outsourcing the frame of the vehicle. They were having the frame done by a third party, okay? But they decided for numerous reasons that they needed to bring that frame in-house and be producing it in their factory. And so this incurred more costs for them to have to do this. There were a bunch of reasons that they talked about, like if there had been issues with the crash testing, that they weren't convinced that the third-party manufacturer would be able to make changes fast enough to keep them on track production-wise and keep their timeline intact, and some other things, okay? But basically, in my opinion, it was a good decision for them to bring that in-house. So now they're making their own frame, so if there were any problems were to arise, they can adjust and adapt quickly, okay? So basically where they're sitting is, okay, the media and all of these news stories would have you to believe that they have cut their production estimates in half for the year and stuff like that, but that is not what happened, okay? What happened is that the CEO, Burns, okay, he said in the earnings call, they talked about this, okay, that this 50% number that they're talking about is a worst case scenario, okay? He just wants to make sure that everybody's prepared just in case they don't get some more funding, all right? Because what it basically comes down to is that now that they've blown through this extra money, if they don't get funding, then they won't produce as many vehicles this year. However, they still are on track to produce vehicles by September. Now, this 50% number, okay, we're not talking about cutting it by 30,000 trucks or something like that. We're talking about like 1,200 trucks, okay? They were only planning to produce 2,400 this year. And so, worst case scenario, everything still is on track, but they only produce 1,200 instead of 2,400, or it may be 2,200, 2,400. I don't remember the exact number, okay? But it's a low number, okay? So while it is true that they may have to cut production in half if they don't get funding, cutting production in half is not like when you use language like that, it makes it seem a lot worse than it really is, okay? And of course, that's what the analysts are doing, is they're sensationalizing it, because that's what they do. They make bad news sound a lot worse than it is, and they downplay good news a lot of times and make it sound not as good as it is. Now, with that said, they're going to get funding, okay? So all of it really is a moot point, because they're going to get funding. I mean, there's no question in my mind that they're going to get funding, and as long as everything stays on track, they're still going to do the full 2,400 this year. That was he was just saying, worst case scenario, we still produce trucks this year, we just produce a little less. And that, it's crazy that it's dropped this much because of that, okay? Now, I do understand that, the funding is not locked in, okay? They do need more funds, and it's not locked in. But, according to everything that was said in the call, they have lots of different avenues to pursue funding. I mean, they're trying their best. They do not want to do a dilutive form of capital raise, so they don't want to do an offering or something. They're pursuing all kinds of different means. Now, they were invited by the Department of Energy back in January or whenever it was, for this ATBM loan, which is a Department of Energy loan, okay? And they've been in the process of trying to get approved for this loan. They were invited to apply for it, okay? This is the loan that made Tesla, okay? Now, if Tesla would not have gotten this ATBM loan, there would be no Tesla right now, most likely, all right? Tesla's survived and made it in their rough times of producing a vehicle because of this ATBM loan, and Lordstown Motors is right now going through the process of getting that loan, okay? A big loan. It's a big loan from the government, and it is cheap money. It is low interest rate and all that kind of stuff, okay? I feel like they're going to get this loan. I feel like in the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to get news that they got the loan, and then everything's going to be like none of this earning stuff ever happened, okay? If they don't, if for some reason they don't get the loan, they've got lots of other avenues to pursue loan. They are debt-free, okay? Lordstown Motors has no debt. They're a debt-free. And they're going to eventually have to take on debt, guys. I mean, look at Ford and GM and the massive amounts of debt that they have. You know what I mean? They're going to eventually have to take on debt. And in this process of building a first-of-its-kind vehicle, it's expensive as fuck, all right? But the main takeaway is that they're still on track. They're still going to be producing vehicles in September. They're on track, okay? The only thing is they have to secure some funding, okay? And I think that they are going to secure that funding. There's no question in my mind, guys, that they're going to get some more funding, okay? And this is an opportunity, all right? Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your mama. If you don't believe in it, don't invest in it, because it could potentially go the other way, and nothing's for sure, and I don't have a crystal ball. But I bought another 100 shares, averaged down. My cost basis is now 300 shares at like $12.47, $12.50 a share, okay? And if it drops to certain levels, if it gets way down again, I'm probably going to buy another 100 shares, all right? And I know I got people in the comments like, just, oh my God, I can't believe you're buying this. But, opportunities like this don't come along all the time, okay? In my opinion, okay? Opportunities like this don't come along all the time, all right? You've got it's like a perfect storm. You've got the market has pulled back, and all the EVs have pulled back because of the market. Then the short seller report. then all this extra stuff on top of the market pulling back that's pushed this stock down, and all of the negative sentiment from a lot of people about this stock. But when I do the research and when I listen to the earnings calls and when I look at the evidence in front of me, like, these guys, in my opinion, are going to be the first electric work truck. And I just don't see, like, I see so much upside. Yes, there's potential downside, but I see so much potential upside, and I see so many things going for this company, okay? Like the Department of Energy inviting them to get this loan, this funding, okay? That's a big deal. They have not given out very many of these loans. And, you know, the fact that they invited them to do it is a big deal. The fact that Joe Biden is really pushing for American EV companies, okay? The fact that that they have a head start on a lot of these other companies. All these other EV companies that people are investing in are years away from production, and they don't have near the assets that Lordstown has. Like, just the assets that Lordstown Motors has is their market cap. Like, they own enough assets to where just if you liquidated the company, the market cap, you know what I mean? Like 1.4 billion market cap or something, and they have like $1.5 billion in assets. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me, guys. There's just so many things pushing them toward making this truck that I don't see them not doing it. And, you know, now they're talking in the earnings call, they talked about how the military is now interested. They just delivered a beta to Fort Benning or something. The military is interested in buying the trucks and checking the truck out to potentially buy. They've also, like, the pre-orders that everybody's on about, fake pre-orders and all that. Well, now they've moved to the model where companies and people have to put deposits down for their pre-orders, and they are up to like 30,000 of those. I mean, this company is going to do something, and with all of this negative news that has pushed the stock down, like, I can see when the news comes out that they have secured this ATVM loan and this funding, it's going to be a big deal for the stock price. When news starts coming out about how their factory looks and about the test drives that some of these analysts and people went on, it's going to be positive for the stock. There's a lot of catalysts and potential catalysts coming just over the next 2 to 3 months. And so I'm still super bullish on it, guys. Like, yes, there is a possibility that it could go sideways, okay? But risk versus reward, I feel like it's a really good deal right now. So that's where I'm at with Lordstown Motors. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment below, and join the fucking Patreon. It's in the description below. Thanks for watching.